Hi, Councilwoman Seaman, and we're back for more safety tips from Chief Molina.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Of course, you are the best at safety tips, and people want to know what we're going to talk about today.
Well, Halloween. Halloween's a big kids event that's coming up. And so I wanted to talk about some safety tips regarding how we can celebrate Halloween safely, especially for our young kids.
So, how do we do that? What are some of the tips that people, there are some that people know about. Be sure and be with your younger kids, of course. But what are some of the tips that we may not think of that we need to remember when we're out there for Halloween?
Sure. So I would recommend first, there's a lot of community sponsored events that are safe spaces for kids to celebrate Halloween. So they're sponsored by schools. Metro has Halloween-related police events as well as our community centers. So those are great places where kids can dress up in their Halloween costumes, get candy, and feel safe about it.
That's interesting that you say that because when my daughter was growing up, we had little parties at the house where we would invite all the kids because going door to door, I don't know how safe that is. I know kids are still going to do that. So what are the tips that people out there should remember about when they are going to go door to door?
Sure. So you mentioned it earlier, Councilwoman. There should always be a responsible adult following or with a group of kids when they're going trick-or-treating. I would also recommend, know your neighbors that you're going to go to and select and map out those houses where you know your neighbors and other friends that can give your kids candy and snacks that are going to be safe. So that's important.
Yeah, I would have never really thought of that. A lot of folks don't map it out ahead of time. They just go door to door. But I think that's really important because we know our neighborhoods better than anyone. So if you know that people have large dogs, maybe you don't want to go to that house. Or if you really don't know that neighbor, maybe it's not such a good idea.
Yeah. The other thing I would recommend lastly is if you're going to do trick-or-treating and you're going to be just sort of randomly knocking on individuals' doors, I would say maybe you'd want to exchange the candy at the end of the day with store-bought candy that you brought for your children. They, try to do it without them knowing the difference. That way they can enjoy a safe candy and snacks.
Yeah, so they can still trick or treat, but yet they have safe candy.
Exactly.
Is there anything else you'd like to add to that? Because I know it's this weekend.
It is. And we start to see, we haven't turned the clocks back yet, but we do start to see it getting darker as it gets a little colder. So I would say try to do it during the natural light hours so that you can be safe crossing the streets and walking through the neighborhoods.
Great ideas. Thank you so much for giving these Halloween tips for today. And now have a safe and happy Halloween.
Bye-bye.